Bill Clinton's on a roll recently, you may have noticed. In a recent interview with PBS, Clinton pointed out that it's a lot harder to sexually harass people these days than it used to be back then. And, of course, he would know. Watch.
I think the norms have really changed in terms of what you can do to somebody against their will, how much you can crowd their space, make them miserable at work.
Tammy Bruce is a New York radio show host, and she joins us. You know, Tammy, the norms have really changed about what you can do to someone against his will.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah,
it's very different now. You used to be able to do a lot of things against people's will. Who's that?
Hillary may be sharing the Chardonnay with her husband. I'm not quite sure. So this is what most people have of course, remarked on, is that for Bill Clinton, it was normal to do things to people against their will. But this is a newsflash from Mr. Clinton. Unless you were back in maybe the Bronze Age, maybe not even then, in modern life here in America, the American Revolution kind of made it that everybody had some rights, and then we became a better country. And the good news is, in the recent modern era, we've learned that you can't do anything to people against their will. It's the concept, of course, of law and order. So we've managed to achieve that, and it was applied when he was president. Apparently he wasn't aware of that. But it tells you, and I think this is what's revealing about Bill Clinton, it's what's termed as the compulsion to confess, is that in his time, that you could do whatever you wanted. But the fact is, they knew then that they really couldn't. The difference was that they got away with it, and they protected each other. And I think for both he and his wife, they want that era back. They want the times back, the good old days, when in fact they could do whatever they wanted. And I think this is it's probably was much more comfortable and controlled for a very few at the top. It's very nerve-wracking for individuals who cultivated that era to have this populism arise, where the American people, women and people of color and gays, everybody who's been a minority in power or in life, actually, because of new media and because of the populism now that's moving, is that we want the Constitution to be clear. We want rights. We want to be safe in our lives. We still want that conservative ideal. A lot of people don't realize it's a conservative ideal, to live lives that best suit us without being attacked and without needing to deal with people like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Clinton.
I think that's exactly right. And it has been at least the Bronze Age since people were allowed to do whatever they wanted against someone else's will.
That's, you know, the pulling by someone's hair is kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not a modern thing.
No.
So you may have seen the rant at the Tony Awards by actor Robert De Niro, who followed up by apologizing to Canada for the American president. Here's part of what he said.
And I just want to make a note of apology for the idiotic behavior of my president. It's a disgrace. And I apologize to Justin Trudeau, and the other people at the G7. It's disgusting.
When you find yourself apologizing to the Canadians, it is by definition a new low. And then the president tweeted this in response, and I'm quoting, "Robert De Niro, a very low IQ individual, has received many shots to the head by real boxers in movies. I watched him last night and truly believe he may be punch drunk. I guess he doesn't realize the economy is the best it's ever been, with employment being at an all-time high and many companies pouring back into our country. Wake up, Punchy!" Exclamation point. Tammy?
He snuck that in between North Korea tweets, right? The world is changing. He's bringing world peace. And he managed to get that in there about Uncle Punchy. Look, Robert De Niro's next movie is War with Grandpa. And I think that you've gone from really raging bull to whining grandpa at this point. It's a shame. You know, fabulous actor, an American icon that has really declined. And really, it seems that, you know, a lot of people, I think there's jealousy that is rooted in the attacks on the president. You know, there you got with the thing he's doing there with his arms. This is a man who seems to not be secure within his own manhood, and that the president's success is upsetting him. And it is, I think, a lot of people. But for the American people in general, we appreciate the success, securing the future of this country, saving lives. He said about North Korea today, if he can save 30 million people, of course he'd stand on a stage with this guy. It's ironic. they accuse the president of being indecent when they every day show their own indecency. And the American people see this for what it is, I think.
Everything is irony, for sure. Tammy, great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Last night, an elderly, confused man went missing in New York. Luckily, a band of self-satisfied elitists found him babbling on the street, threw some pants on him, gave him a stage.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to say one thing. Trump. It's no longer down with Trump. It's Trump.
It kills me. Talk about persuasive. Really, I was on the fence about Trump, but then I decided to really listen to one of the great generational leaders of American pop culture. And the clenched fists at the end, that really drove it home. It looked like he was pressing a 2-pound weight in a Jenny Craig commercial.
Oh, my God.
Look at it again. It's so cute. It's like he found out the restaurant serves Jell-O, or that he won a $10 scratch-off, or he scored a cameo in Jersey Shore, or he had his first #2 in a week. Thank you, Fibercon. What a sad end for a great actor. He went from Raging Bull, to this.
Look at this guy! Am I on drugs? Of course I am! Yeah! Off history is being made. What's up now, bro?
Yeah, what's up now, bro?
Oh, yeah. Poor Bob. You know, he's like a star whose girlfriend dumps him for a bigger star who's in the White House while you're in Dirty Grandpa. Oh, man. So now the resistance is reduced to applauding tantrums. Who knew De Niro's lasting role would be irrelevant gas bag pleasing irrelevant peers? And he's doing this as Trump organizes a summit. Not a war, a summit. And you got to wonder, if it were President Hillary, Bob's choice, would you actually have a summit or would you have a war? But forget deeds. What matters is adulation received from an emotional display before a packed sea of millionaire lemmings. So who cares that Trump meets with North Korea? It's no meet the parents. Right, Travis?
You talking to me? You talking to me? Talking to me?
Sit down. Nobody's talking to you anymore. Pathetic old man. All right. He was in before I get to you, let's go to, I think he was in Canada, Toronto, opening a restaurant or doing something. And this is what he had to say.
And I just want to make a note of apology for the idiotic behavior of my president. It's a disgrace. And I apologize to Justin Trudeau, and the other people at the G7. It's disgusting.
You know, I actually feel bad for him because I think he's one of those people that has never emotionally recovered from 2016. This is a guy who's got serious Trump disorder.
Well, and where he was last night and where he was today, he certainly knows his audience, right?
Yeah,
so he's like talented in that way. But what he doesn't know are the cast and crew that work on his own show. So he was actually there as part of the musical that he co-directed is The Bronx Tale.
Right.
His name is on the marquee. He gets paid from it. They played the music leading up to it. He never mentions the show. And this is a show, like in the times that there's so much competition, and the cast and crew of A Bronx Tale really deserved a lot better. I think this was extremely selfish because he didn't. You need publicity, right? And this was their shot to be able to get a chance to talk about that show, which I've seen and I loved it. And I think it was extremely selfish that he forego the opportunity. Forwent the opportunity? How do you say that? Forego the opportunity to talk about these people who need others to come see the show. So we'll do it here. Go see A Bronx Tale, even if Robert De Niro doesn't care.
Yeah. So he cheated the Tony honorees, but also I think he might have helped Trump get reelected, Jesse.
Yeah, I think Hollywood's not doing the Democrats a very good service here. If you think about it, he's like the Nancy Pelosi of Hollywood. Yep. Every time he opens up his mouth, the Republican Party goes like this, keep talking. And when you add this to Samantha Bee Seward, to Snoop Dogg, to Kathy Griffin, they are not doing a very good job helping Democrats get elected. And what this does is when something like this happens, it fires up the Republican Party. It turns off independents, and then it just drags the Democrats so far to the left that they cheer and they think this is acceptable. I would say, though, you have a choice. If you're a lefty person in this country and a celebrity, you're either going to resist Trump like this guy, or you're going to work with Trump. And we've seen celebrities work with Trump recently and get things done. I don't see why these people don't just show up at the Oval Office. Trump will bring them in, they'll get things done, and everybody will say it's a win-win.